time Hamza was here, we talked about marketing and leadership, and you all loved it. My WhatsApp and DMs were full of messages. Deena, bring Hamza back. We want to know more about human psychology. And here we go. With this box, our mystery box reveal for today. We see this box. Inside are several objects. By the end of today, every one of them will make sense. Some will make you laugh. One will make you feel uncomfortable. One might change the way you look at yourself. Because today, it's not about marketing or leadership. Tonight, we're going very deep. We're going into human psychology and emotional intelligence, into the part of us that decides how we love, how we fight, how we react, and why. Hamza is not a psychologist. He's a marketeer, a leader, a husband, a father, and somehow one of the most thoughtful voices I know on why we behave the way we do when it comes to human psychology. Hamza, welcome back to Careerna podcast.
Thank you so much, Deena. No, absolutely excited about today. You're absolutely right. I'm not an expert in psychology, and I'm not an expert even on emotional intelligence. But these are two topics that really excite me, and I talk about it all the time, be it at work, at home, with friends, because, I'm just really curious about humans in general, how they think, how they behave, and why they do so. I'm really excited for today.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Hamza. And I want to ask you, how did you become interested in the human psychology and emotional intelligence?
Yeah, no, I think that everyone is curious about human psychology and emotional intelligence in general. From the moment we're children, we often think, oh, why did my parents do this or behave like that? And we have these internal questions that are always there.
Yeah.
And as we grow, as we start working and interacting more and more with people, those questions never stop. But I think what happened to me is that at some point in my career, I started to really reflect more, take a pause, and wanting to study it rather than just understand it. And maybe I'll share a couple of stories that will give you a bit of insight on how my journey went into, learning first about emotional intelligence, and then later in life, diving deeper into psychology.
Yes.
I guess the first story started in Procter & Gamble.
Okay.
I remember I was in brand operations, which is basically, managing the mall activations and promoters and all of that. And there was this person who was Egyptian. He was a very close friend of mine. We used to play football together. We used to have long discussions together as well. And then he was a brand manager at that time. And I needed something from all brand managers, and they all replied except him.
Okay.
So at that time, I decided to send one of those amazing emails, one of those threatening emails to tell him, you know what, if you don't respond to me with what I need, this is gonna fail. We're not gonna make it happen. And my tone of voice in the email was a bit tough, it was a bit threatening, which I'm not very proud of. But his action, or his reaction to my email rather, was touched me so much that I will never forget that moment. He basically walked from his desk, which was on the other side of the building, to my desk. He leaned on my desk and he said, "Hey, is everything okay? Is there something I can do to help you? I feel you were a bit frustrated, and I understand the pressure, but I'm here to help. I'm there for you." And that gave me goosebumps. And it shocked me so much that I didn't say anything. I just was like, wow, I would have replied to that email with so much anger.
It's so smart.
And that changed the way I look at reaction in the workplace. So that was the first thing. And then about a year later, I was having a review with the manager of my manager, so a very senior leader in P&G, who told me, Hamza, I really like you. I care about you and I really respect you. But I want to ask you something. Have you ever read a book about emotional intelligence?
Mm.
And when he asked me that question, I was feeling embarrassed because I didn't even know what emotional intelligence was.
Mm.
And I told him, maybe, I'm not sure. And he was like, take this title and go read it. And he gave me the book of Gail Carnegie that everyone knows about how to win friends and influence people.
Yeah.
And I still remember going home and reading the first few pages and feeling guilty because I was realizing how many wrong things I was doing every single day when interacting with people. And that was the first eye-opener that taught me that, I need to really not only learn about emotional intelligence, but practice it.
Yes.
And every time I read another book, I realized even more so. So that was, let's say, the first chapter that really triggered the search or the understanding of emotional intelligence, what it means, the impact of it, and so on and so forth. Now, move forward about, I would say, 7 to 10 years later, while I was trying to practice emotional intelligence, while I was trying to improve myself in that field, something else happened. But this time it was much deeper, much more, let's say, impactful than even emotional intelligence. So I remember it was December 31st,
Okay.
2022? Yes, 2022. We were sitting in the balcony with my wife, my mom, and my daughter. And my wife was pregnant at that time with our boy. And we were waiting for the fireworks because we could see Burj Khalifa from our balcony.
Yeah.
And we all know how impressive, the Burj Khalifa fireworks are. So we were super excited. We set up a buffet table there in front of the Burj Khalifa. It was so nice. I was really excited about that moment at that time. And then around 11 p.m., my wife came to me and she told me, Hamza, I think our daughter has cancer. Out of the blue. I think she has leukemia. And I was like, where's that coming from? And she told me, well, look at her skin. And she had a lot of blue marks all around her skin that I was like, what is this? And, the first thing that we do is Google. At that time, ChatGPT was still not very reliable. We were still, questioning it. So we Googled, and yes, leukemia was one of the possibilities because when a child has leukemia, the platelets go down and then they start having those blue marks and even red dots on their hands and feet. So she was like, you know what, let's sleep, and then tomorrow we take her to the doctor. I told her, sleep? What do you mean sleep? So we took our daughter right away, 11:30, 11:45. I remember very well, we were driving to the hospital and seeing fireworks all around the city. And all I could think about is the safety of my daughter at that time. So we reached the hospital and, we asked the nurse, what could it be? Because, there were very few doctors. What could it be? And she didn't want to give us an answer, right? Because the doctors don't let nurses actually give answers. And for 24 hours, all they were doing is they were doing tests. They were checking what it could be. And they found that her platelets level was 30,000, while the normal level was 150,000. So she had low platelets number, but we still couldn't figure out what it was. So after 24 hours, of course, we couldn't sleep. We couldn't do anything. I remember I was praying nonstop. They sent us to City Hospital, where there is, a pediatrician, hematologist, I think it's called, who's specialized in blood. Anyways, After 3 days of tests, they told us for sure we can tell you now it's not leukemia. So that was a big relief. But between the time that we expected and the time we knew, I collapsed. When they told me the news, I literally collapsed and they took me to the ER. And then, while we were in that hospital, in the second floor, there were a lot of children who had leukemia. And I could see them walk with their parents, and their parents knew that they had just a few months to live, and they were 2 years old, 3 years old. And that was a life-changing moment for me, Deena, because I started to question everything from that moment. The amount of questions I had in my mind were so overwhelming that I couldn't stop reading. I was taking care of my daughter, of course, but I was also reading a lot. A friend of mine, I remember, brought me Zamzam water. He told me there are many studies that show that Zamzam water actually helped with what she had was actually called ITP, which is, she got a viral infection, and then the virus, while it was fighting the infection, when the infection left, the virus continued to attack the platelets. And at that time, her platelet level went down all the way to 1,000, and she started bleeding from her nose, from her mouth, and that was also life-threatening, even though it was not leukemia, which was, relieving, but it was life-threatening. And so that friend brought Zamzam water, and then we gave her Zamzam water, but it didn't work. It continued to go down for a week, and I got so curious about Zamzam water, I started doing a lot of research about it. So that's why I give you all of this context, just to understand what led me to question human psychology. Because from Zamzam water, I went into religion and trying to understand religion. And from religion, I went to history of humans. And from history of humans, I went into evolution. Because evolution explains a lot of our behaviors. And I can remember from that moment, I used to sleep 2 hours, 3 hours per day because of the reading that I was doing. And my wife told me, I lost you completely. You don't talk to me, you don't see me, you don't even, talk to your kids anymore, to your daughter. All I used to do is when she needed me, I would take her out to the park and stuff. But the moment I'm alone, I would just read and study. And when I reached the evolution part, it got so interesting because suddenly everything started to make sense of why we behave the way we do. And so, yes, I'm not an expert in psychology, but I don't think that people need to be experts to read and learn and study. Because even experts themselves don't know everything. And they'll tell you, proudly, I don't know this part. We're still trying to figure it out. And that's what's beautiful about science in general. And so for me, I encourage everyone really to go and study. You have all the tools in your hand.
Yeah.
You have AI, you have YouTube videos like you never had in the history of human beings, that you could find any topic and you could research by yourself. You could read different perspectives, different ways of, understanding human psychology. And even for people watching us today, whatever we say, they can go and look up for themselves. They don't need to take everything that we say as a fact. Because we are not, experts. But even if you're listening to an expert, you should not take what they say for granted. You should research for yourself and decide, what makes sense, what does not make sense, based on the evidence that you have.
100%.
So I know it was a bit long, but I think that gives you a hint of what took me from, emotional intelligence to psychology and so on.
That's beautiful. God bless all your family and your daughter
Thank
and
you.
your son.
Thank you.
And you promised me today it's going to be fun. Okay.
Yeah, no more tears, Deena.
Yeah, no more tears. Okay, now let's play. In this box, we're having a lot of objects. So let's start with our first reveal and see what is it.
Okay.
Ta 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 ta. Mirror. So, what do you guess is the first aspect that I want to tackle today?
Looking at ourselves and thinking about our thoughts, maybe by looking at ourselves in the mirror.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's why I want to ask you, why do you think, Hamza, self-awareness is an underrated skill?
That's a very good question. I think, well, to me, at least, self-awareness is the foundation of emotional intelligence. Because if you don't understand yourself deeply, then how can you understand how you react to the world around you? It's very difficult. So that's one. Now, the second thing is that oftentimes self-awareness is undermined because of the misunderstanding of what it actually means. See, a lot of people think that self-awareness is understanding your personality, what you like, what you don't like, what makes you upset. You know, people would say, you know, I'm an introvert, or I like to travel, that I know myself so well, that's exactly what I like. But that's not self-awareness. That is really understanding your personality. Self-awareness is very different. It's actually the ability to pause, think about your own thoughts, and then think how you could react differently based on those thoughts.
Can you clarify it more for me?
Yeah, sure. So, for example, if someone comes and tells you something that triggers you, for example, they tell you whatever,
Okay.
okay? So, self awareness is about pausing, feeling the feeling of upset, of being upset about it, trying to understand why you're upset or the fear behind the fact that you're upset. And then instead of being angry at the person, you say, "Oh, thank you for giving me that feedback." You know? So it's about changing, understanding yourself first, and then changing your reaction from an auto mode to a thoughtful response, which is very different from understanding your personality, you know?
Yes,
I don't
yes.
know if that
I got
clarifies.
it. I got
Yeah.
it. I got it. That's amazing. I want to ask you, Hamza, also, we see people who are very smart, very successful, yet they are not fully self-aware. How do you
Yes.
see this?
Yes, and we know a lot of people. I know myself, and I'm sure you know, people who are very successful. They have a very high position. They are excellent at what they do. You know, you sit with them technically, they would impress you with their knowledge on what they do. But then, you know, when you ask their team about them, they might not talk so highly of them. And in general, those people, the main issue is that they're not very self-aware. Is that they might be, you know, triggered by a certain situation, and they might snap at people, or they might say something hurtful without understanding the impact of their words.
Yes.
And the reason for that is that you can be smart, you can understand your triggers, you can understand emotional intelligence and all of that. But if you don't actually take action to change your patterns, to change those behaviors, and then practice it very often, then you might not get out of the loop of those patterns.
Yes.
And you might continue doing them. And that's why some of the interactions with these very smart people that I had, and I try to give them feedback, you know, you're a very smart person. However, if you know, just change the way you talk to people in this situation, it would make a big difference. Oftentimes, these people tell me, I know.
How do you know?
Yeah. Oftentimes, I mean, I'm talking about now smart people that actually self-reflect and they do try to understand why they react the way they do.
Okay.
So a lot of these people, they know, but they prioritize getting the work done, making sure that things get delivered over working on themselves to improve as a human being, as a leader, and as a colleague in general.
Yeah, there is an article that I read that such successful people and that they know that they have less self-awareness. There is a point where during painful situation, something very challenging, something very painful, it's the ugly truth. They face themselves, like they figure out that yes, I have less self-awareness.
Yeah.
Do you believe in this? That challenging moments usually appear the level of the self-awareness.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because you see, comfort hides the patterns that we have, but pain reveals them. So when you are in that moment of pain, suddenly you have that moment of self awareness that, oh, now I understand why I'm reacting the way I do, you know?
Yes.
But also, Dina, I wanted to take a step back because we're talking about successful people, right? The way we define success can vary from person to person. And to me, a person that, let's say, had a startup, opened his company, made a lot of money, reached a certain level with his company, yet the people working with him are feeling undervalued, not respected, not important. To me, that's not success. Because success is not all about money and reaching a certain place. Actually, for me, a person that makes people around him feel appreciated and respected, even if they don't succeed from a financial perspective, is more successful than the one that succeeded from a financial perspective. So the
Yes.
definition of success can vary from person to person.
Very, very
Yeah.
insightful. 100%. There is something that I read that the mirror, no one is able to hold it for 30 seconds to see himself as a part of facing your self-awareness.
Okay, I've never heard that. Okay,
I tried it. I tried it yesterday, honestly, but I found that it's fine. يعني عادي.
okay, interesting.
بس يعني something that I just wanted to figure it out. Okay,
Okay.
perfect. Let's take our second object.
Okay, I will put the mirror back.
Okay. So mirror, it resembles the self-awareness. Let's take the second thing.
Oh.
I have a surprise for you.
Oh
Ta-da! I want to show it to the camera. Guess who's this?
Oh my god, that is crazy.
Oh my god, lovely. This is Hamza. You were like 3 years old?
I think, yes, about 3.5 actually, yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
And that's why I want to tackle the childhood.
okay.
I always see your post talking about childhood and how much childhood is really reflecting our current future and the current
Yes.
present. So how do you see this aspect?
Yeah, absolutely, amazing topic. Amazing topic. I love children, by the way, and I care about them so much. And I understand how deeply your childhood experiences can impact your adulthood from an emotional being, from the way you look at life. And that's why I'm often very careful about how I talk to my kids, how I treat them, because, we don't want to repeat the same patterns that hurt us or that made us struggle in the future. So the way I look at it is that we know our brains in the early lives are like sponges, and they absorb a lot of learning, a lot of emotions. We try to understand what love means, what fear means, what fighting means, and all of that. So, for example, if your parents have been giving you gifts as a child and telling you, I love you so much whenever they give you a gift, you start to connect love with gifts.
Yes.
And I met a lot of people whose, their language of love is gift. And I don't understand it. Like, I met this girl that was telling me, you know what? I met him and he's such a great guy, but he never brings me like even a bouquet of flower or chocolate. And I'm like, is that what really matters? But for her, that's how she was raised.
Yes.
So whatever happens in your childhood becomes so engraved that it becomes a truth.
Engraved. I
Yeah.
like this word. Yeah.
It becomes your truth, that when people try to shake it, it's hard to do that. And your understanding of the world, what's safe, what's not safe, is really, imprinted by your parents first, and then by your environment when you are young.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of sums it up. Yeah.
So the children, what I got from you, you're saying is that the children, they see themselves from their parents' encouragement or comments when they were a child.
Yes, but I would be careful to just say parent, because it varies a lot from child to child. Some people were more exposed to TV than their own parents.
Yeah.
So whatever you're exposed to in the early years of your life basically impacts the way you understand the world in a huge way. And for people to change those and understanding of the world, definitions that are building inside you in that kind of software that is building at an early age, it takes a lot of internal work, a lot more effort than what it would have taken when you were a child.
100%. Tab, do you believe that can an adult have emotional wounds despite he was having a normal childhood?
Yeah, absolutely. We understand normal differently from culture to culture. So if you look at someone, let's say, living in Europe, and you tell him, what's normal, and then you ask someone in Egypt and you ask him what's normal, their definition of normal will be very different.
100%.
So for example, if you take now Eid al-Adha that just passed, and you take a parent from Egypt or Morocco, and then you ask them, should your child see the Adha or the sheep being slaughtered,
Yeah.
He might tell you, yeah, of course, that's part of how we raise them. We need to show them that this is what we do. This is our culture. But what could be happening in the child brain could be very different, because then he might think, well, that sheep was my friend for a week. Why did you take him away from me?
Yes.
And then maybe when he grows up, he has fear of abandonment that we don't see. But for us, it's completely normal. So why is he having problems as an adult? You know what I mean? So normal, how you define normal, is important to look at as well. And children wound can come from anywhere. It could be, like I said, from parents. It could be from a TV.
Yeah.
It could be from school. And at any moment, one sentence could cause that wound and then come out later in adulthood without us even realizing it. So yeah, the answer is absolutely.
Hamza, sometimes I figure it out with myself. As an adult, I do something or I say a word, I see that it's reflected from my childhood. And it comes out of nowhere. It really happens to me as an adult. I can really relate to what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's beautiful. Okay, I want to take you from the childhood, from your picture, to the current present, and to ask you that خلاص, a child grew up as an adult, and now it comes to the triggers and the reactions and all of this. But this time, it's not me, the one who's asking the question, because I have a surprise for you.
Oh.
I got 3 questions from people who knows you very well, and they really want to ask you the question. So just allow me to bring my mobile.
Sure.
I have a very nice surprise for you. Just a minute. I hope the microphone would get it. Okay.
Hamza, so just out of curiosity, really, I do believe that you are an emotionally intelligent person. At the same time, we have a relationship, and me being your wife, I feel like I do have an extensive capacity to push some buttons and trigger you to the point where you become not so emotionally well-reserved or emotionally intelligent person at that specific moment. I just want to understand, why does that happen with the closest people normally, and how to prevent that from happening?
Your wife. First, a very big hi to you, Yani. Thank you very much for joining us in the podcast. So I really love her question.
I feel triggered already, you know. Just
I
hearing,
told you it's a surprise.
just hearing her voice, you know, my hands are sweating and I'm scared already. No. But
God bless you.
on a serious note, you know, often people think that okay, you're emotionally intelligent, therefore you can't make mistakes. But in reality, you know, being emotionally intelligent doesn't stop you from being human, and it's very much human to get triggered, even if you understand it. And if the person is very close to you, like your spouse, for example, they are more likely to catch you also in a moment where you might be, you know, emotionally exhausted, tired, at the moment where your brain is on auto mode, and the likelihood of that bad moment happening of where you're emotionally unintelligent, let's say, is higher. However, also there's another aspect that I'm thinking about now is that often than not, our partners understand our triggers very well.
100%.
You know, they live with us and they learn by doing and by telling us things and how we react. So sometimes it could be that the person is not getting enough attention and they want to push those buttons to see, you know, some reaction from you,
Yes.
right? And when, you know, let's say an emotionally intelligent person is triggered, they might, you know, stop, think, do all the work of self-awareness not to react in a bad way. They can do it a few times, but at some point, their brain will go back to what it sees as safety. At some point when they feel, because the way I look at it is emotional stability. I see it like a triangle where the bottom part of the triangle, you're stable. And if someone triggers you, you increase in how angry you are. And then there is the top part.
Yeah.
If you get very angry, you go back to auto mode and your unconscious mind controls you now,
Yeah.
right? So an emotionally intelligent person usually tries to stay at the very bottom of the triangle as much as possible. So they stay in control of their patterns rather than letting their patterns control them. However, you know, it's a spectrum. Different people can do it at different levels. So some people can stay at the bottom of the triangle much longer than others.
Yes.
Yeah. So although there's a big difference between knowing and doing. So the more you practice, the more you're able to stay calm when someone triggers you.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it's very natural for a spouse, emotionally intelligent or not, to get triggered.
To get triggered. There is an Arabic saying, إنما العلم بالتعلم. When you practice, you learn how to stay in this spectrum. You don't go flooding all above.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But no, it's a very good question from my wife.
Thank you. Okay, I have another surprise for you, but honestly, this voice note, I didn't understand a word.
Okay.
So you need to translate, honestly.
Fine.
Here you go.
Comment un commentaire peut-il provoquer un impact émotionnel aussi énorme?
Is that the end?
Yes.
So what he said, comment un petit commentaire peut-il provoquer une réaction aussi intense?
I have no idea.
I think that's what I heard.
Yeah.
So what he's saying is, how could a small comment cause such a big reaction in people?
Okay.
You know? That's also a nice question, by the way. So a small comment doesn't mean that it doesn't mean much for the other person. Actually, a small comment can mean a lot or even everything to that person, right? Especially when it comes to people that we deal with very often, and they tend to be comfortable with the way they speak to us. Sometimes, you know, they feel so much themselves that that comment, they might think it's nothing. Like it was just a joke, for example. Or they might say whatever, or a small, really small comment, but it means to them, it could mean disrespect.
Hurtful.
It could mean I don't care about you. Or it could mean your efforts don't matter. While it's just, you know, no, I don't want to do it, for example, or I don't like the way you talk to me. It's a small comment, but the meaning behind that comment is what causes the reaction.
Yes.
And what's happening in our brain at that moment is that our brain interprets those words as a threat. And our brain, the role of it most of the time is to protect us. And so it goes into hyper protection mode and reacts in a bigger way.
Yes.
So that's why I think a small comment can cause a big reaction, definitely.
Yeah. Yani, oh my God, with one comment can cause like a completely out of proportion reaction.
Absolutely, yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Ziad. Thank you. Okay. I have another question. I got it from my DMs that I want to read it from you. For you, it is, how does insecurity change the way we interpret people's words and actions?
That's a big one. That's a big one. And insecurity, I wish that people who are insecure understand this part, because you see, a secure person in general interprets people's words and action as more neutral. They don't necessarily connect it to themselves. An insecure, and I'll give an example, but an insecure person in general, what they do is that they take people's words and actions and they right away project it into themselves.
Yes.
You know, so let's take an example at work. Two people are sitting, and then a third person is presenting, and then once that person finishes their presentation, one of the people say, you know, the presentation was amazing. I love the graph. I love the way they shared their slides. And for them, it's just really giving a compliment and liking the presentation.
Okay.
Now, the person sitting next to them, they're about to go present now. You know, and if you're an insecure person, you might take those words as, or let's say they presented before them. You might take those words as, my presentation is not
Was
good
not
enough.
good.
While a secure person will just look at those comments as neutral. Okay, he just liked his presentation.
Yeah.
And so the brain of an insecure person, let's say it sees threats from words more often than a secure person. So suddenly everything becomes a threat. This person behaved this way, it means this towards me. That person said this word, it means this. So the brain sees everything as a threat. And that's why it's important. What I suggest for an insecure person is to really work on themselves, have more confidence that whatever they do, it's okay. Be yourself and grow with time.
Yes.
The mistake that people do is this is who I am. No, you are not static. You can change. Your brain is very adaptable, by the way, if you just give it a chance.
100%. This part of the insecurity, it really hits with me because I totally believe in, there's an Arabic saying that also says, كل عبد يرى بعين طبعه. It means that what we actually hear, it doesn't come from what the people are really saying. Maybe it is coming from what we listen to ourselves internally.
Yes.
Yeah, it really resonates with my way of thinking.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hamza. Let's play a game.
Okay.
Very nice game now. Okay, I'll tell you some of the phrases, and I want to ask you about the behavior behind this phrase.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll say a phrase now,
Sure.
and just tell me what is the hidden behavior behind this phrase.
Okay.
Okay, yalla, let's start. Calm down.
Oh.
What does it mean?
So calm down in general, especially when a person is getting frustrated, is that you're basically invalidating their feelings. You are dismissing their reaction, like showing them that their reaction is too much, you know, and that can be triggering actually.
So much. Okay, the second one. Oh, you're too sensitive.
It's also invalidating your feelings.
Invalidation.
Same, yes.
Come on, it was a joke.
So here, it's dismissing the other person's reaction, But also there is a hidden thing in it, which is trying to make the other person feel guilty for reacting on something hurtful that you said, so that you take the blame away from you and project it into them, that they're the problem.
In Arabic, it's called إسقاط. إني
okay.
أسقط علي, يعني to put the responsibility in your bucket.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So when someone says, it was just a joke.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
joke.
And by the way, we all do it, you
Yeah.
know. So I do it as well. And what matters is that you're aware of it and you try to reduce the frequency of doing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting. You have changed a lot.
Okay. I love that sentence. Yeah. No, the way I look at this, when people, I'm sitting with a friend that I know for a while, and they tell me, you've changed a lot. Of course, it depends on the context
Yeah.
that they say that. But if it's when they want you to do something and you don't want to do it, then it goes into guilt tripping.
Oh.
Yeah, because now your new version no longer serves them. And they cannot get their way to get what they want from you. And so the best way to do it is to make you feel guilty about it. So you might change your mind and go back to how you used to serve them.
Yeah, the older version.
Yeah,
of
so we
yourself.
have to be very aware of these things and careful.
I love it. Okay. After everything I did for you,
Oh,
I think this is the...
it's very common, by the way.
Yeah.
We laugh about it, but we all do these things. And again, it goes back to our emotional triggers, our childhoods, and what it represents. And those patterns usually come from fear, and so after everything I did for you also has a lot of guilt tripping in it. You're trying to bring the past into a present moment to influence the behavior of the person in front of you. Because the logical and honest way didn't work. So your brain, to try to protect you, tries to find a more manipulative way to do that. And after everything I did for you is one of those manipulative ways.
Manipulation. Yeah, 100%. And the last one, come on, you're overreacting.
Yeah, again, it's both invalidation and dismissal. They are telling you the way you reacted is too much. That this is how you should react. This is the level at which you should react. But in reality, we are different people, and we should have the right to choose what is the level of reaction that your words or your actions, caused to me.
100%.
So you should understand that people's feelings are valid, regardless how it looks to you. They are valid. And when someone reacts in a certain way, if you do anything other than being there for them and saying, oh, I understand that you might feel that way, then this is more your ego talking rather than you trying to care for them, understand them, and then, support them in that moment where it's difficult for them, So that's what I think.
I liked it that you mentioned the ego, because the ego contradicts what we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
When it comes to the...
Definitely, yes.
100%. I love playing so much, so I will continue on playing.
Let's do that. I love the discussion, by the way. I'm so passionate about, emotional intelligence in general that I could do this for hours.
Perfect.
No problem.
Okay, let's go back to our mystery box.
Sure.
Here you go. I want you to hold this.
Okay.
Please. Okay, it's yes or no.
Okay.
I got it for my kids, by the way. But I found it at home. I found, oh, that's a good thing. Let's bring it to the podcast. Okay, I'll tell you some sentences. And from a validation perspective, I want you to tell me, do you agree on it or disagree?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, let's start. Needing validation is a weakness.
No. For me, needing validation is very human. And maybe we'll talk later about it, but no.
Okay. you can love someone and still be toxic to them.
Definitely. You can.
Unfortunate.
Yes.
Most people don't actually want the truth.
100%.
Unfortunate. Parents are the number one source of adults' triggers.
100%, you said?
Number one source.
The number one source? It depends. I wouldn't put yes or no because it really depends. And we spoke about it earlier. It depends what the children were exposed to when they were younger.
Yeah, perfect. Disrespect hurts more than betrayal.
It also depends on the person. For most people, betrayal is bigger than disrespect. But we cannot generalize because for
Yeah.
some people, disrespect is is so important that it overcomes anything else. And the people like that exist. But for most people, I think betrayal is bigger.
Betrayal
Yeah.
is big. Betrayal is a part of disrespect anyway.
Yeah, true.
100%. Okay. Social media made us emotionally weaker.
Again, I cannot put a yes
You
or
need
no.
to choose.
I cannot. No, I cannot because it depends how you use social media.
Okay.
You cannot say that social media makes you weaker.
In general, يعني, holistically, do you think the social media makes us emotionally weaker?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so because a lot of people practice self-awareness and personal development through social media,
I do. Yeah.
right?
100%.
I feel since social media, I've become more aware. I've become more, understanding of others, more accepting of others. But what we need to be careful with on social media is the cognitive bias. Because what social media feeds us is what we already believe. So you're fighting with your husband, and the next thing you find is how bad male personalities are and how they try to be toxic, and
Yeah.
it reinforces what you're thinking about. So if you are not careful and aware of that, then it can take you into a loop of becoming emotionally weaker.
Okay.
So it can. That's why I'm saying it really depends on you and how you use social media.
Yeah.
Do you take whatever you see as facts? Do you stop and think and reflect and look at different perspectives? It depends.
Okay. But from Hamza's perspective, social media makes you emotionally weaker?
No, for
No.
me, no.
Make a no.
Fine. You're forcing me to give an
No.
answer. Fine.
Okay, and the last one is being seen matters more than being loved.
This is also part of this yes or no.
Yes or no?
I don't,
From
okay,
your
I
own
don't like this
perspective.
game. I don't like because
I like it.
most of these questions or sentences are not a yes or no.
Okay.
So
I know, by the way, that's why I chose them, because it's a little bit tricky.
yeah, true. I mean, for you, maybe being seen is more important. For another person, for me, I care about being seen more than being loved. My wife, it's the complete opposite. She just wants to feel loved, and she needs to see it, feel it, and hear it. So it changes a lot from one person to the other. If you ask men, for example, they will tell you, I want to, and feel, by the way, feeling seen is part of respect as well, So if you respect them when they talk, and if you ask men, most of the time they would tell you, I would choose respect over love at any time.
100%.
So that's why I'm saying it depends on the gender, the personality, where you come from, your culture.
Yeah.
You cannot generalize in such
Okay,
way.
خلاص, the game is ruined. Give me this. خلاص, we will not play
Take
this
it
any this
back,
game
yeah, this-
anymore. Thank you, Hamza.
Yeah, sure, true.
Okay, so now let's take it deeper, and I want to ask you why humans usually they crave validation.
Okay.
Let's take it on a serious note now.
Yeah, no. It's a good question, and you remember when I started at the beginning talking about the research in evolution. So to find the answer to this question, we need to go back, way back, to when humans were evolving. We're talking 300,000 years ago, when we started to form like tribes and groups, and being out of the group was really a survival thing. If you're out, you're probably not gonna survive, because a group was protecting each other from outside danger, and they were able to hunt better, and so on and so forth. So when we're talking about validation, at that time, a person that sought validation from the group was accepted and was more likely to stay part of the group and survive. And when you stay in the group and survive, and you have children and all of that, your genes survive. And that behavior of validation becomes human, part of who we are. And that's why seeking validation is very human. And that's why all these likes and views and people wanting, after they do something, for people to tell them, you did great, that was amazing. It feels so good. Because that's deeply rooted in who we are as humans.
I want to ask you in this part, how can we balance is that seeking for feedback, but also maintaining an internal validation, not only seeking external validation, because this balance of internal and external validation is very critical. Like if someone is always getting the external validation, then he's ruining all his internal validation. I hope you get my point.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. So the thing is that it's human. You need to understand that getting external validation is human, but you should not depend on it. Your mood, the way you feel about yourself should not depend on it.
Perfect.
So while it's human, you should practice internal validation more.
I totally agree with you. Okay, now let's go to the dark part. The part that I don't like, but it's very dark.
Okay, wow.
Because it is the toxic communication.
Oh, okay.
So now we moved from the awareness to the childhood to the validation, and then there is a part, the dark part, where there is a toxic communication.
Okay.
And let's face it, it's there and we're facing it.
Yes.
So how can I know if someone is draining my energy?
Okay. Look, I think that anyone knows very well when a person is draining their energy to start with. But the way I look at it, or if I had to give tips to people, try to look at how you feel before, during, and after you meet the person that you're talking about.
Before,
During, and after.
and after.
For example, before you meet them, do you feel excited? Or do you hope they cancel the meeting? That makes a big difference in how that person impacts your energy. You will understand it very quickly if you ask yourself this question. After they leave, after you've met them, they leave, how do you feel? Do you feel energized, excited about meeting them again very soon to continue the discussions you had? Or do you feel relieved that they left? So if the answer is that you feel relieved that they left, then that person is probably draining your emotional energy.
But what is the hidden psychology behind the toxic communication in general?
So in general, any person, when they communicate, nobody wants to be toxic. Everyone wants to be honest, they want to be genuine, and so on and so forth. But I think toxicity happens often when the person who is being toxic does not find a way to get the outcome that they are looking for. And so when they don't get the outcome they're looking for, they feel threatened in many aspects, in many ways. Their brain, again, we spoke about it, their brain interprets that not getting that outcome as a threat. And then the brain tries to find shortcuts. How do I get what I want to be able to survive, going back to evolution, in a different way? And that's where, guilt tripping, manipulation, trying to control the outcome comes in.
You made me so much interested now to go and read more about the evolution of the survival mode.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's a big one. I read this book from Richard Dawkins, Our Ancestors' Tale,
Okay.
and you know what he does? He starts with humans,
Mm.
and then he goes back to evolution backwards. He doesn't start from the start.
Ah, he went backward.
He backwards from humans, from modern humans,
Okay.
today, and then he goes backwards in time. And that book, it's really impressive. When you read the psychology behind why humans behave the way they do, it all goes back to evolution. Because those traits that we had that helped us to survive stayed in us. It explains everything.
100%. What's the name of the book again?
Well, there are two books that are connected to this. Our Ancestors' Tale, and then there's The Selfish Gene.
Okay, Selfish Gene.
And they're both from Richard Dawkins, and both of them explain a lot, both human and animal behavior. And some of them, they overlap the ideas, but I strongly recommend that people read them. It's amazing.
I'll put them on the screen.
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
put the pictures up
Sure.
on the screen. Perfect. So now let's go back to our mystery box. I'll leave you to guess what I'll talk about now.
Okay, that's a lock. We don't like to be locked. We like to remain open.
100%. And that's why I want to ask you why people, they have self-awareness. They have a healthy childhood, and they take internal and external validation, and they have less toxic communication, yet still they are locking themselves and locking their potential in such a lock. Why it's happening?
Okay, so I think one thing that we need to always remember is that our brain is lazy. So we always try to find the easy way out. And the easy way out is what feels safe to our brain. And what feels safe to our brain is the old patterns. So for anyone to really be able to unlock that potential of growth and being more open to change and so on, they need to pause more often.
Pause.
Pause. When you're having a conversation, when you're in a certain situation, whether you're with your spouse or at work, whenever you feel like you want to react, pause and think. And then try to think how your reaction will impact others, will impact the outcome of that meeting, and then choose consciously what you're going to do or what you're going to say next. And it takes a lot of effort the first time you do it, but the more you practice and the more you do it on a daily basis, the more it becomes natural. Until the new behavior feels safer than the old behavior that used to feel safe.
Subhanallah. Yeah.
So that's why practice is the key word here. Pause and then practice that pause and reflection of self-awareness.
There is a terminology one of my colleagues, she mentioned, it's called the self-sabotage. It means that we underestimate our potential, although we have it.
Yes.
If you can take me through this part, why people underestimate their potential with the self-sabotage terminology?
Yeah, no, I think that most people underestimate their potential. We have to go back again to the childhood, right? You see a big difference in people where some are very confident and even overconfident and not so good, by the way, in some cases at what they do, while others really have self-doubt and are not sure about themselves, but the moment you start working with them, they're really good. But they undermine their own capabilities. And when you start to investigate those people, if you sit with them and ask them their questions, they will right away go back to the childhood and tell you, you know, when I was a child, when I used to get 95% in my exam, my mom used to tell me that's not good enough. So it causes a deep emotional wound that goes back from the childhood all the way to your adulthood in how you feel about yourself. And if you feel that whatever you do is not good enough, then you're always going to have that self-doubt, that, you know, undermining your own self and sabotaging your own self.
Yeah, very, very, very insightful.
Yeah.
Okay, so for every lock, there is a
Key.
key.
Okay.
If I can give you this key for a moment, and share with us, Hamza, how to unlock our self-sabotage and our toxic communication, our invalidation, our even childhood traumas that خلاص, it happened and we're facing it now. So the floor is all yours. How to unlock this lock with the key and have the control of the key in our lives.
Deena, if I had to answer your question in one word, I would say metacognition. And metacognition is what we've been talking about all this time, which is the ability to think about your own thoughts. And that is the most, let's say, missed skill that we need to think about, because metacognition is really the key to unlock your potential, your growth, understanding why you think the way you think, why you behave the way you do, you recognize your patterns, and then make a change in the behavior and then practice that. Now, a lot of people, the challenge that you see is that they don't put themselves as a priority. They see everything else as a project. Everyone else needs to change. Everyone else can do better. The work needs to be done properly and in an excellent way. But they themselves as a project, they don't see that. While normally it should be the other way around. You should be your most important project. You should look at yourself in all ways, from a health perspective, from your relationships perspective, from how you look at life, and really work on improving the way you think, the way you show up as well. That can be life-changing, I think, and really unlock your potential to the fullest. And lastly, what I want to say is that it's not like you're going to reach a certain point where that's it, you unlocked yourself now. I don't think there's a limit to how much you can grow and how much you can improve. Lastly, I want to also put a point of caution as well, because oftentimes some people, what they do is that they become so interested and so passionate about this topic of self-awareness that they forget to act on it. They go into paralysis mode of understanding and studying and knowing. And then they don't use it. So that's also a word of caution that I would add as part of unlocking yourself and your potential.
Very, very interesting. I really would like to thank you, Hamza, because, by the way, my audience, you were right when you said that we want Hamza back to talk about human psychology. And thank you, my audience, that you really requested for this. And talking about human psychology and emotional intelligence, really you proved that it is the core of any career growth, for any relationship building. You can have the title, you can have the strategy, you can have the followers, but not having a strong human psychology, it will never work.
True.
I can't thank you enough for this episode.
Thank you so much, Deena. I enjoyed it so much, really. And, I hope that the viewers as well enjoyed
Inshallah.
podcast.
I hope you enjoyed the games, too much games. And I'll take my key to unlock my potential. I promise from your words.
Please take it.
I'll take my key.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Hamza. Thank you very
Amazing.
much.